An update to an I-Team exclusive. A day of reckoning for a convicted former Bronx attorney who admitted guilt in a multi-million-dollar immigration fraud.
Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace first exposed that scam 2 years ago, and now she's live at the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan with what happened today. Sarah.
Well, actually, Adam and Gilma, it is still going on. When we came out of the courthouse here upstairs, the hearing was still going on. The judge has not yet made her final decision. You know, this was so painful. There are many people giving victim impact statements. They went to this attorney believing that he would do the right thing. They went through the proper channels hoping to get a green card. Instead, he wronged them and left many in legal limbo.
Are you sorry for ripping so many people off and ripping families apart?
Kofi Amankwah answered no questions as he walked into federal court this afternoon in Lower Manhattan. But several family members of victims had plenty to say, including Ricardo Velasquez Jr.
Just having to see him eye to eye and ask him, why did you have to do what you did? You know, it was just very inhumane. Not only to my family and my father, but to all other families taking advantage of the system. It just wasn't right.
It was his family's heartbreaking story, aired by the I-Team 2 years ago, that first exposed the scam being run by immigration attorney Kofi Amankwah out of his Bronx office. He repeatedly refused to speak to us.
What do you say to all these families who say you have scammed them?
At the time, federal authorities had deported Ricardo Sr. back to his native Mexico after the family returned to their home in the Bronx from visiting relatives. The longtime restaurant cook is married with 4 U.S. citizen children. Amankwah had promised he could get legal status for the parents, encouraging them to travel and get a passport stamp on return. The attorney promising that would expedite the process. He charged $3,000 per person.
The plan was for me to sponsor my parents through my employer. He made us the promise that, you know, we had the right documentations to submit to immigration so that my parents could receive the immigration status.
But Velasquez and many others who came forward to the I-Team say they later discovered that Amankwah had filed nearly 4,000 false immigration documents under a government program designed to protect domestic violence victims called VAWA. His filings, 47% of all petitions nationwide. In September, Amankwah pleaded guilty to fraud, and we learned that immigration officials had allowed Ricardo Sr. to be reunited with his family in New York.
I live in New York City for a long time. I love this place, and I can't lie to this country. I love it.
In its filings, the government had asked for 70 to 87 months in prison for Amankwah. He has already agreed to forfeit $13,389,000 and pay more than $16 million in restitution.
I hope everybody gets reimbursed. You know, my family is also that we lost money too. We just hope we get something back.
It is unclear at this point how the restitution money will be dispersed. Also, it's worth noting that many of the victims themselves, immigrants, were too afraid to come to court today and give victim impact statements because of the legal uncertainty. Live from Lower Manhattan, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.